September 1940, Dunkirk coast, a British commando raid. In the age of the machine gun, the tank, and the bomber, a new sound entered the chorus of modern warfare. A sound that was centuries out of place. That was the sound of a longbow. And the man who fired it was the only Allied soldier in the entire war to record a kill with one. This is Mad Jack Churchill, and his motto was simple: any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. This is a true story. John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill was born in 1906, a man seemingly born in the wrong century. He graduated from Sandhurst in 1926 and served in Burma with the Manchester Regiment, where he mastered motorcycle dispatch riding. But his soul belonged to an older era. In his off-duty hours, Jack was a Renaissance man of ancient warfare. He was a skilled bagpiper. He was a champion archer, representing Great Britain in the 1939 World Archery Championships, and he carried a Scottish basket-hilted broadsword, a claymore, not as a trophy, but as a weapon he intended to use. When World War II erupted, Jack was 33 years old. He witnessed the disaster at Dunkirk but saw a new opportunity with the formation of an elite, unconventional force, the Commandos. This was his stage. Here, his eccentricities wouldn't be a hindrance. They would become his legend. His first taste of action was Operation Archery, a raid on the German garrison at Vågsøy, Norway in December 1941. But his legend truly began with smaller, earlier raids on the French coast, like the one at Dunkirk in 1940. It was during this raid, as his commandos stormed the German positions, that Mad Jack sent an arrow sailing through the night air. It struck and killed a German sergeant, making it the last confirmed longbow kill in British military history. He had brought a medieval weapon to a 20th century fight, and it worked. It was during this raid, as his commandos stormed the German positions, that Mad Jack sent an arrow sailing through the night air. It struck and killed a German sergeant, making it the last confirmed longbow kill in British military history. He had brought a medieval weapon to a 20th century fight, and it worked. But the bow was just for range. For close quarters work, he preferred his claymore. During the fierce street fighting in Vågsøy, as the battle reached its peak, Mad Jack did the unthinkable. He gave the signal to attack by standing up, drawing his massive sword, and charging into the fray, yelling and swinging. His comrades, inspired and perhaps bewildered, followed, and as he charged, he played. Not a war cry from his lungs, but a screeching, morale-shattering tune on his bagpipes. He would later say the sound frightened the enemy and encouraged the friends. After the successful raid, he was seen marching back to the boats, his pipes skirling a victory tune, the longbow over his shoulder, a satisfied smile on his face. Mad Jack's reputation grew with every mission. By 1943, he was a lieutenant colonel leading No. 2 Commando in the invasion of Sicily. His audacity reached new heights during the attack on the town of Catania. One night, tasked with capturing a German patrol, Jack decided on a more ambitious target. With only one corporal for support, he approached an entire German mortar position and its garrison. What happened next was pure psychological warfare. Mad Jack, with his broadsword in hand and his corporal with a rifle, charged the position, yelling commands and creating utter confusion. The Germans, thinking they were being overrun by a much larger force, surrendered. One by one, a black and white photo, real or recreated, of a long line of German POWs with a confident Jack Churchill at the front. But even Mad Jack's luck couldn't hold forever. In July 1944, his commandos were ordered to assault the heavily fortified German position on the Yugoslav island of Brač. The attack was a bloody stalemate. Out of his 1,200 men, only a handful were left fighting. From his position on a hilltop, with his men being cut down around him, Jack Churchill made a decision. He stood up, drew his claymore, and charged, alone. He swung his sword, he threw grenades, he fought like a man possessed. For a few glorious moments, it worked. He created enough distraction for his remaining men to move. But then, the German response came. Not with bullets, but with a mortar shell. A German grenade landed nearby, knocking him unconscious. He was captured, alive. The Germans, utterly baffled by this sword-carrying, pipe-playing officer, interrogated him at the highest level. Convinced he must be related to Winston Churchill, they sent him to the infamous Sachsenhausen concentration camp. But you cannot cage a spirit like Jack Churchill's. In September 1944, he and a Royal Air Force officer tunneled out. They walked for days, covering over 150 miles, before being recaptured near the Baltic coast, just short of the sea. He was then transferred to a supposedly escape-proof camp in Austria, Oflag 4D. In April 1945, as the war neared its end, Mad Jack escaped again. This time, he simply walked out into the darkness and kept walking, hiking over 100 miles through the treacherous Alps. Exhausted and starving, he stumbled upon an advancing American reconnaissance patrol. The war in Europe was weeks from ending, and Mad Jack was famously, genuinely disappointed. He was quoted as saying to his rescuers, and later to friends, "If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years." Jack Churchill survived the war. He went on to become an instructor, a surfboard designer, and even a movie extra. He retired in 1959, a man who had lived his life entirely on his own terms. So, was he mad? Or was he the sanest of them all? In a war defined by impersonal industrial-scale slaughter, Jack Churchill fought as an individual. He believed in personal courage, audacity, and the power of sheer, unadulterated nerve. He wasn't just a soldier. He was a statement. A reminder that even in the darkest, most mechanized of times, the human spirit, in all its glorious, eccentric, and unbreakable individuality, could still shine through. Lieutenant Colonel John Mad Jack Churchill, 1906-1996. He never fired a single arrow or swung his sword in anger after 1945.